everybody. I wanted to bring this to you. This is my solo Infinite Archive Sorcerer build that I use to do just that. This is what I use to grind the Infinite Archive because I've been trying to get some of the antiquities from here, trying to get all the achievements. So this is the build that I use to get the best run possible. I just got done with a run and I scored 132,000. I didn't get to the 4th arc boss because I ended up kind of just, getting bad luck as it happens a few times in a row, and then I died the final time to my own negligence. But I feel like 132,000 is pretty good. That puts us tied with the number 10 spot right now. It closes in a few days, so unless a bunch of people really push through, then we should actually get a pretty decent reward out of that. As you can see, okay, it says 10 now. I was at 25 after I tweaked the build a little bit. So this is what it is, and I'm going to walk you guys through every aspect of it. So I'm running 64 magic. I'm a high elf, and of course we are running our Oaken Soul Ring because it's the 1 bar. I'm using Bewitched Sugar Skulls and the Thief Boon. I really don't. The food isn't a huge necessity. I just like it because it's high health. It gives me max stamina, max magicka, and it gives us health recovery. And I like it because it's also really cheap as long as you already have the recipe. So, the Thief, of course, always with these kind of builds because we really want to hit that crit. So, for our skills, I'm using Blockade of Storms as my first one. So you can use Unstable Wall of Elements. It's just in here I like using Blockade of Storms because it lasts a couple seconds longer. It's way bigger, like it's way further, and the bigger the AoE, the better it is for me because I just like to set it down and then burn the group by like hiding around the outside to kind of corral them on it. But that being said, you can definitely run the other version of it. All we're using this for is like every other heavy attack build. We're using this to proc that off balance. Critical Surge. This is, to me, the bread and butter of the reason the Sorc is such a OP version of the heavy attack build, because while this is active, every crit damage we hit heals us for 3,630. That can happen every second. And we are constantly critting with this build because of all the Sorc passives with shock damage, the shock enchant on the staff, the lightning floor. We're hitting crit all the time. Hardened Ward. This is the reason why I think the Sorcerer is the best idea for the Infinite Archive right now, and it's because this is broken. It is a cheap shield that is going to shield us for 17,500. That on top of our health means we have just about 50,000 health to play with the whole time. And since this is a heavy attack build, we're almost never out of magic. So this is just easy, of course, use it. This does scale off the higher your health is. Well, health or magic. And since we have a lot more health on this build, since we're not really focusing magic because we don't need it that much, it's going to be just a big shield. And throughout the archive, you can boost your magic and health with the visions, so it gets better. So, Mystic Orb, this is our flex spot. We change later in while you're going. This is great for the early arcs all the way up to, I think I used it all the way up until arc 3. And it just does good damage. You run up, you lay down Blockade of Storms, you throw down Mystic Orb, and then you heavy attack. And this, as you can see, it deals 1346 magic damage every 1 second to all nearby enemies. Now, we don't have an ally near us because this is a solo build, so that whole synergy, which does great if you have a teammate to come in here with, but until then, none of that matters. So we're just using that, and then it gives us health, magic, and stam recovery while it's active, so that's nice, but we don't really need that all that much. Stam recovery a little bit, but not really. And then I run the Twilight Matriarch. I run this because I ran this twice, one without it, one with it, and I just felt more comfortable with it. It's a big heal if you recast it. It heals you for 13,270. It's just a big heal. It's nice to have. The enemies constantly start just aggroing it. Like, it's just nice to have. And then you can kind of use the body block. I prefer it. And for the Ultimate, I am using the Greater Storm Atronach just because it will stun the whole group early on. You can definitely get away with using Shooting Star, or actually Shooting Star works very well the whole time as well. I use this as, like interchangeably, but I've been just running with the Storm Atronach as of now. Um, the other one you could get away with using that I will use in the beginning is Elemental Rage, because it's just a massive AoE that just does a bunch of damage, and it just wrecks the crowds of them. So as long as you get used to not trying to save your ultimate for too long, this is good for the early stages, but late stages I really prefer the Greater Storm Atronach. For our CP, we're running Deadly Aim, Exploiter, Master at Arms, Weapons Expert, very basic, just heavy attack, blue skills, and then for our reds, I'm running Bastion, Fortified, Boundless Vitality, and Celerity, and that's just basic red options. Celerity, if you don't care about the fast movement, you could definitely run it with, like, I wouldn't run Survival Instincts. You could probably, I would run Slippery, if anything, because there's a lot of things that knock you down and cause you stunned, and that will give you a free get out of jail free card for those. So I would definitely run that if you don't want to run something like Celerity, or maybe even Rejuvenation, really just skyrocket your regen even more. And so for our sets, we're running, of course, Sergeants, Precise Lightning Staff with a Shock Enchant, so that we can get that, we can really proc that off balanced by using Concussed. We're running Sergeant's Ring, Necklace, and Oaken Soul Ring. Now, I have mine as Bloodthirsty. You don't have to have them as Bloodthirsty. You can have them as Infused. I just like Bloodthirsty for these. I had it on there for a long time and just never changed it. I am running Curse of the Sergeant, Divine's Chest, and that's all of our Sergeant. My one piece is a Slime Craw medium Divine's helmet. Now, this is probably better with light, but I had swapped it out with light, and I didn't see that much of a difference. So, like, dealer's choice, but I will say light has a lot more passives for our kind of damage. So our main big set is Alessians. This is a heavy set, so you will need your heavy armor passives, but the 5 fees on this increases your health recovery by 2% of your sum total physical and spell resistance up to 1320, and our current bonus is 1080. So if you've seen our skill sheet earlier, I'm sitting at 3148 health recovery. That makes this thing just a beefy tank. You can take on enemies very far into this. Like, I was almost to the 4th arc boss, like almost to the end of the 4th arc, before I started being like, okay, I need to prioritize a heal. Like, this is a beefy build. Now, once you're into the 4th arc, things do slow down, but also everything in there has 400,000 health, so it's gonna slow down. But if you're just in here to, like, do the daily quest or something, this is going to this blows through. I didn't even get footage of, I think, almost any of the 1st arc, because I felt like it was boring because I was just bullying everything. But this has no doubt in my mind, my run ended because of my own incompetence in here. It is no doubt in my mind that if you're better with the Sorcerer or better in Infinite Archive and you know what to watch out for, that you could definitely run this straight into the 5th arc, no problem. And yeah, so these I have health enchants on. They don't have to be health enchants. They can definitely be magic enchants if you want to, like, lean more into damage, but I left them as health because that's what they came with. And also, none of mine are really on trait. I have Impin, and that one's reinforced, but, like, I have Impin. These should mostly be well fitted, and Divines. They're probably all Divines if you want to really maximize the heavy attack damage. But that's the build. I have footage from the run, and it's from this run, the one that scored in the top 10. There we go. It's updated now. So it's a good build. if you're looking for a 1-bar easy Sorc build to do Infinite Archive with, I highly suggest this one. And yeah, that's the whole shebang. Oh, before we go, the flex spot. Mystic Orb. Later on, I swap it to the Blinding Flare. Now this is just Revealing Flare morphed, but I swap it out to that because it gives us major protection. That's what we need, because I've seen other people tell me that Bound Aegis is good, but we already have minor protection from our ring. So major protection gives us another 10% off damage taken, and when you swap onto this, you will see that massive difference of how much damage you're mitigating. So I swap that out once I start like getting worried about getting piled on after like a stun, and I'll swap that out and then keep rolling. It really ups the tankiness. It does slow our damage down a little bit, but it's not that bad. Yeah, so that is the build, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, come by the channel. Tell me what you think about it. Tell me how your run at Infinite Archive went, and let me know if you have any other tips or tricks for Infinite Archive. I will have an Infinite Archive guide coming out soon to help everybody out with the fact that there's a lot of confusion still a year in of like versus visions, what to do to like try not to get smoked by the marauders. I'll have that coming out soon. But thanks, guys. Again, like, subscribe, check out the other build videos, and yeah, thanks for coming out.